Hi, Scorpio. Welcome to your mid-February reading. This is going to be one of those readings where you guys get mad at me, I think. Maybe. I could be wrong. Okay, but I just want to start with it's the astrology. So, to prove to you that I'm not letting anything of any kind, how people feel about you, how anything affect this reading. I just want to shuffle first, not say anything. Happy fixed season, Happy Valentine's Day. You're the first ones. Okay, 6 of Cups. So, when you're little and things are just so far out of your control. And if you're sensitive, you're like, okay, this is grating on a part of me that's so soft that if I let it keep grating on me, I'll bleed out. So you put a little patch there, just in that spot. So the thing won't hurt so much, right? And then as you get a little bit older, you begin to realize that there are many, many different places that become patched. And soon, this person who started off basically a mollusk becomes encased in an armor that is as much emotional as it is physical, right? So physically, the armor is a kind of standoffishness, right? In the physical posture. It's an extreme squaring of the shoulders on the part of male or more male-leaning Scorpios. There is an intense squareness to the shoulders. It's confrontational, the stance generally of Scorpios, and it makes sense if you think about the animal as well. It's a very confrontational, even the way the tail is, it's very confrontational. It's ready to fight. It looks like it's armed to the teeth. And emotionally, there is this standoffishness as well, which, of course, we know is just an armor, but it's so very hard to look past, right? We have the uncanny feeling around Scorpios that we are being controlled. And some people, you will find, are obsessed with that feeling and can't get enough of you. They've been waiting their whole lives for someone to control them. For one reason or another, they've never really been able to control their lives. And they're good people, they're nice people, but in some way or other, they've been damaged and they have that developmental roadblock. And they really seek you out because they need structure and they need discipline and they need someone to have some semblance of control. So, although you feel at the beginning of relationships like you're getting exactly what you want, oftentimes, I think Scorpio, especially Scorpio rising, develops a kind of healing fatigue. So you give the person the discipline. You give the person the control that they're lacking. You structure their life. You structure their love life. Drake is infamous, right? Infamous Scorpio, saying things like teaching women things that they didn't know, etc. Okay, so it's that behavior. It's that I can mold you into what I like and what I want. And Scorpios intuitively know that most people's sexuality, actually, I think Scorpios understand that all sexuality is fluid and, that there really aren't any lines. So I think you quite prefer introducing people to how you are and how you like to be around and how you like to be loved and how you like, all of that. And there are people who, like I said, need that. They need that control in their lives, regardless of if it's emotional or sexual, physical. They need it. They're longing for it. And after a while, you do become, in this scenario, like a superstar, right? You're like the provider of everything, right? Like, this person is at your mercy. And it makes you look very capable and very resourceful, which you are. So you're like, okay, this really suits me. This person or these people, say this applies to you carrying a business on your back, right? These people really need me. And you feel good. And this is a very enviable position to be in. The Magician is someone, when the Magician comes up in your reading, as a major arcana card, what it's giving you is it's giving you the temperature of right now and how to move forward. Like in chess, it would be not one moves, but two moves. Like, make this move, but make it here so you can make that move next. That's the major arcana. So the Magician here is saying, yeah, it's quite nice that you have this exalted position. The Magician is quite proud of himself, and he is quite a sight to behold, and he seems to really get it, as above, so below, and all that. But remember, there is another side to this card. The Magician is always showing you one thing and doing another, right? Part of magic is illusion. Part of magic is trickery. Part of magic is the subversion of free will. So, the Magician here says, yes, it is fun to have people who lack self-discipline, self-control. It is fun to have people like that flock to you. It is fun to have people like that worship you. It is fun to be able to help people and genuinely, out of love, give them structure, give them what they need. But at some point, we have to be honest with ourselves in our intentions for doing it. What is truly your intention for doing it? And also, is it sustainable? Can you long-term carry someone on your back? And more importantly, should you have to? Right? Because this month is a month where there are people around who you will never have to carry. In fact, those people might just clue you in to some things that make it so that you never have to carry anyone again, and that you never need to be carried again. This is someone who has extremely good luck, and you can happen upon them by chance. You can run into them in the form of an old friend. You can have a chance encounter with someone you met once. But the reason I put it that way is because it's an encounter that screams at you. This is serendipitous. This is meant to be. Everything clicks in that moment for you. And it need not be romantic at all. This is just a moment. It's a moment, a stroke of luck. Everything has shifted. Many of us were under duress for the past 7-8 years. Extreme bad luck, actually. Nothing worked. Nothing made sense. Love disappeared. But things have changed. And the way the stars work is when they change completely. Sometimes it seems like in the blink of an eye. So, tomorrow, February 14th, and from tomorrow until the 16th, you're off that cliff of love, messy and deep. Whether it used to be, still is, or somehow you got dragged back there, boy, you can't help but fall into that syrup. And it tastes pretty good, too. Now, why would the planets do that to you? Why would they put you in that real love type of situation? And if you're wondering, well, Umber, what does that mean? What do you mean real love? That shit that doesn't make sense. That feeling you cannot shake. That impulse that comes out of you. The way your eyes light up. The way your eyes change shape when you look at him. Or her. Or them. The way your heart races. The way your breath quickens. It's that elemental kind of love. It's your hormones screaming at you. It's your body longing for something or someone very specific. For some reason, from tomorrow until the evening of the 16th, love is just tugging at you. Doesn't matter. It could have been someone you just met 2 weeks ago. If you're head over heels in love, then that's what it is, tugging at you. It's just, it won't let you go. And some of you feel this relentless kind of energy, and it just irritates you. You know, like if you have a very disciplined mind and you're very focused, you know, and you've got goals and plans, like this shit is really irritating. It can put you in a mood, you know? It can put you in a space. You know what I'm talking about? You know exactly what this is. You know exactly what this is. When you're here, everybody's there with you. You take all the air in the room. You take all the air out of the situation because you're scared. But if you're brave, if you know that you have the tools you need and you're not the person you used to be, if you're brave, you won't get stuck. If you're brave, you'll remember that you're not that person anymore. You've grown quite so much and you've accumulated a lot more experience and a lot more skill. And perhaps whoever the other side of that equation is has as well. But this shift, and it's a very powerful one, only happens tomorrow if you believe in the progress that you've made, if you believe in the work you've been doing, if you believe in whatever it is that you put in 8 or 10 hours a day at. It's not just about love. It's not just about romance or intentionality. This is discipline, right? We're talking about your need for control, people who flock to you because they need control in their lives, your own control of your own life. And now we segue into the fact, you know, and that was all. You can call it me buttering you up, or you can call it whatever you want to. I think it's quite helpful, but suffice it to all that being said, from the 14th to the 16th, none of that discipline comes to your aid. None of that strictness of character shows up. Your strictness of character calls in sick. For some reason, you're a soft mess. For some reason, you know, you want to pick up the phone. You want to make toxic phone calls. You want to return, toxic texts that you've been holding on to, looking at, but not, you know, replying to or not deleting. You know what the fuck you're doing. I don't have to tell you. You know what the fuck you're doing. But starting tomorrow, for the next 2-3 days, all that stuff that you've been building up and working on, it won't help you stay away. But if you let yourself melt, if you allow yourself to stand in your power and believe in who you've become, I think it goes so much better than you can imagine. I think there is here, whether this is a work situation, a love situation, a family situation, there are a lot of hidden boons here, hidden blessings, hidden abundances that can only be accessed if you are brave enough to know that you are not who you used to be. And if you're brave enough to basically you want to get back in the ring, you want to get back into the spice of life, but you have this caveat that you want control over it. And it's like, it's so funny to anyone on the outside. I don't mean funny like that, don't get mad. Oh God, I don't want to say amusing either. It's interesting. That's what my sister-in-law, she's a Libra. I learned from her. It's interesting to watch you try to have that conversation with the chaos of the universe. It's just like very kind of strict, stringent tone of, I'm not getting back into this unless I have complete control. And the chaos that is the world, and the chaos that is messy, deep, real love, and the chaos that are women or men or them cannot be controlled. Your relatives cannot be controlled. Your toxic coworker cannot be controlled. Your long lost love interest cannot be controlled. That bitch decided like tomorrow's the day to text you. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna take you there. It's gonna take you there. And then when you get there, you've got to decide if you're brave enough to open up and let someone meet you, Because they got to dive deep to meet you. Let's be real. They got to dive real deep to the dark, 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 dark still water where the sun don't go anymore, where all the creatures turn clear with bright lights inside them because there's no fucking light. Those of us who are not from that have to dive very deep to meet you. And so there's a lot of bravery on the other side of this equation as well, right? Whoever comes to meet you in this loving bliss of sentimentality, they do so at their peril, knowing that you're a venomous creature, knowing that you live at a depth where the pressure crushes us all, but you have your armor, knowing that you go and you retreat there, knowing that we can't follow you. Knowing that if we try, the depth crushes us. And yet you have no qualms of running down there and hiding and not coming back. And just baiting us to come find you, knowing that it'll kill us. But we come looking nonetheless. And that's, I think, the point. Is that you've got to decide now, yeah? One way or another, sweeping gestures are going to get the job done. One way or another. Either it's done, it's over, it's done, no more even looking at these cups, or put your fucking cups in and let's go. That's where you're at. And I think it takes these 4 days with like a seasoning mallet, like your chicken paillard, to get like, tenderized. So you can make these decisions. You have this in you now. You want something big, right? You want something big. And for those of you who are running a business, or those of you who are trying to make something happen, right? Something that's like out of your control. Like you can't make yourself famous, even though some people would disagree. You can't make yourself... I don't know, there's a lot of things. I don't want to list them all. It just sounds depressing. But there's a lot of things you can't make yourself do. So if you're in a situation where you kind of find yourself at odds with the universe and kind of playing, tug of war with the universe, understand that sweeping gestures right now, emotional sweeping gestures, get the job done. If you really want to be done with something and move on from something, this is the time from now until mid-March where really big kind of proclamations, gestures, sacrifices, prayers, it all gets the job done, right? So basically that's a way of saying like tap into who you are, regardless of what it is that you want right now. Just tap into who you are, tap into that extremity of your nature and figure out, like, I think the most difficult part of this is like figuring out what you really want, because you're trying to do this without communicating, which is hilarious. Like you're going to try to make like around February 20th to the 23rd, you're going to try to make really big decisions without communicating with the other side of this equation, whoever it is. And you're going to realize that you can't because it's not a real decision. Like as long as you're not adult about how to move forward from whatever this is, like the point is that your greatness continues to roll at you, hitting you in waves. But if you cannot absorb the greatness and happiness around you because there is something gnawing at you, there is something tugging at you, your heart is not in it, then you're gonna have to take a step one way or another, backward or forward, doesn't matter. But you gotta do something, because the stasis that you guys get comfortable in and you feel like nobody can see you, like you're hiding in the mud or something. No, we see you. You're not a Cancer, you're not a crab. We see you. You look crazy. Stop. Like, you need to do something. You need to, if you can't communicate with whoever is the other side of this equation, communicate with somebody you trust. Communicate with somebody successful, somebody you trust, somebody who understands. And then when you're done getting their advice, then really communicate. Then really say what you got to say, you know? And then if that means, you know, and sometimes like you guys will be like, no, but I don't want to be, you know how I am, you know how I can be. Yeah, well then be how you be. Then be how you are, please. It's in everybody's best interest for you to be how you are. And it's okay that I have to tell you guys that like once a year, twice a year, because everybody makes you feel bad for how you are. But no, you need to be how you are. Just be how you are. It's fine. No matter, listen, this is like the golden rule for you guys as Scorpios. People are going to stick around no matter what, or they're not going to stick around no matter what. You not being you, you changing yourself because you're too extreme, you're too, all the bullshit people say about you, whatever. That person, if they're criticized, they were never going to stick around anyway. Do you understand? Either people love the weird shit that you guys do or they don't. But this crazy idea that some people get that they can somehow change you, tame you, rewire you is insane. And it's so disrespectful and it's so weird to me because of course, some of the only people in the world that are truly authentic, that do what they want and say what they want, of course, people would be obsessed with the idea of somehow taming them and declawing them and defanging them. It's so weird. It's so bizarre. It's so weird. But opposite, then be how you are. Say what you want. And you know what? If that includes also saying things that like, I don't know, not like you're telling people secrets, but like if that includes saying things that are always unsaid, but they're right there in the room and like nobody says them, nobody wants to like address the pink elephant in the room, this is your sign to address the pink elephant. Not just in your own relationships, not just in whatever this is ultimately about, but just in general, incorporating that into who you are. I think it will make you much, much happier as a person because you are very direct. And it's weird, it's bizarre when things are happening in a room where there's literally something just hanging, you know, like a literal banner hanging in the room and nobody's addressing it. You somewhere in that first week of March are like, you know what? Is no one going to say it? Because if no one's going to say it, I'm going to say it. And then you start saying it and you keep saying it. And the vitriol is missing. And I think you'll find that people aren't quite as angry with you. Because I know you think in your head sometimes, like, you know, Aquariuses are dicks. Like, Tauruses can be so mean. Like, Geminis, forget it. Like, how come I'm the one that gets the bad? Or, like, I'm not even that bad. Like, you, I think, don't realize sometimes that the stuff you say, it's not even that it's, like, harsh. It's also that it's you. Do you know what I mean? Like, if a Gemini says something really mean and really harsh to you, it's like, okay, but you're a dick. Like, I don't even care if you don't like me. But if a Scorpio says something really harsh and really mean to you, you're like, fuck. Like, that hurts, you know, because I respect you. I want you to like me. And you don't. And now you're being mean to me. Like, wow. You know, that I think it's like, I think there's added pain there because the person is like not at all happy about being excluded from this group, right? That's the way Scorpios work. There's like, this is my people and you can't be in it. So if you want to start telling people why they can't be in your circle, go ahead. Go ahead and tell them. But I think what you'll find is that people have a different view of you right now. If you go with just the facts and just start addressing the elephants in the room, I think that you'll quickly develop exactly what you want in yourself. This thing that you look up to in others, this kind of really charming quality where they're able to get across really touchy things without making people angry, without blowing up the situation. You're learning how to do things with a lighter touch, let's say, but being a lot more incisive, but with a lighter touch, if that makes sense. So there is this kind of simple humor banter going on with you. It's very charming. You're very charming. You're very attractive right now, but you are telling people their truths, and you need to. You need to. Because otherwise you're just going to explode, okay? So like, just do it. Whatever. They'll live. That's fine. Everybody needs the truth sometimes. But make peace with the people, you know, and the things that come up in your mind continuously right now. Deal with it somehow. Either talk, say it. You know, you have to get it out. If it's like something that's looping in your mind, and that's maybe how I should have put this. Whatever this is something that's been looping in your mind for a while, right? And now between the 14th, it just comes up so strong that, you know, you got to do something with it. Okay, let me put it this way. Let's be as real as possible. If you really, really, really want whatever it is that's been continually running in your mind, if you really, really, really want it, I think you can have it, but you'll have to reach your hand out. Like the Ace of Cups, you know, you can have the thing, but you need to reach your hand out and grab the cup. The cup doesn't just come over and dump itself in your lap. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. Now we have a lot more to cover, like a lot more to cover. We have to talk about the things that go with being noticed, being seen more. We're going to talk about feeling alone, right? And if you've been feeling alone for a while, we're going to talk about the tiredness that comes with that loneliness. We're going to talk more about love and healing and isolation. So there's quite a lot, like quite a lot more to talk about. But we'll do that in the extended. I really like the flow of this reading. It reminds me of the readings we used to do at the beginning. And I think the reason it's so clear is because Mercury is in Aquarius. And I think that gives you some good raw material to work with. You can say things as they are and not make yourself the villain. And I think it's time to grow out of that role and really become the magician that you are. You're not the villain. You were never the villain. You're just the one who was so soft and got hurt so much that you developed armor. It's not just villains that wear armor. It's also the softest and the sweetest among us. They're the ones who need it the most, right? It's time to outgrow how people see you and how they see what you've become. Because you're always becoming, Scorpio, you know that. Constant reinvention, constant death and rebirth. You are allowed to show them who you are now. You're allowed to molt and have a different skin now. And you're allowed to hold them to seeing you differently and not hold you to your past as well. That's very important. Okay? Ooh, I love you. I love you, love you, love you. I'll see you in the extended, yeah? Happy Valentine's Day!